God, it's a Norwegian horse.
No, the Mongolian horse.
Oh. Welcome to the Heart to Heartland podcast. Here are your hosts.
Welcome back to Heartland. I'm Isabelle.
And I'm Soile.
And we have a few updates for you today. So Heartland is currently top 5 on the Audience Choice Awards for Canadian Screen Awards. And that voting period ends on Thursday. So you guys hear this on Saturday. So that will already be over. And so we're going to be waiting until Monday the 28th to see who made the top 3. Now that goes until March 7th. So that goes for a whole week. And that's it. That's the end of the voting. And we aren't going to know until the first week of April. And we don't even know a particular day yet.
Yeah.
So that's the update on the voting. So I'm very, very certain we're going to make it to the top 3 like we were talking about. It's going to happen for sure. Whether or not we'll win it, like it's a hit and miss. Who knows? Really don't know. But
I think it's been fun because we haven't had this kind of thing in the fandom for a long time, I would say.
It's been years, yeah.
But it's like daily, like voting, like trying to get everyone to vote and like sharing, like I voted and all that stuff. So
we've been going to the thumb gym every morning.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for voting. Do your 100 taps daily, and if you have more than one email, use that one to do some taps too. And speaking of that, Aiden jumped on live, Instagram live. Was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday.
Yeah.
And so he was on there. How long was he talking? So he was on there, and I come in during the middle of this thinking that my volume's broken because I was connected to Bluetooth. So I'm like, okay, my phone's on crack. So I'm trying to, and then everyone in the comments is like, we can't hear you. So Aiden's just talking and we can't hear anything. And it was like the highlight of my weekend. It was hilarious.
Yeah, like when I got the notification that he has gone live, I was like, oh, what's he up to? And I clicked on it with my phone, but then the like video was frozen and I was like, is it my phone? So I went to my laptop and opened the live on like Instagram.com and it worked fine. And I was like, okay, so it must have been my phone. And then he was talking about like what he was up to and then mentioned the voting thing as well. But then when he showed the other nominees, just the whole thing muted. And I was like, is it my laptop? Like, what's going on with the like live? Because it's not working properly. So then he just went on and on, like talked about who knows what for maybe 4 to 5 minutes. And we were trying to lip read and everything. And everyone's like, Ada, look at the chat.
Read the comments.
Read.
And I'm like, in all caps, like basically screaming at him, read the comments. We can't hear you. It was so funny because I wasn't there at the start when the chat was. So I show up and I'm like, how long has he been talking to himself for? And you're like 4 or 5 minutes. I was like, oh my God.
I was like joking, like it must have been CBC. They don't want to promote this.
I know CBC's got like a hate list and they're like crossing people off lately. It's hilarious. But
no, but then he came back and I feel like he was a little embarrassed, but like he was a good sport.
He's Adele.
Yeah, but he's iconic, so it was just hilarious.
It was funny. It was good to see him back.
Yeah. And then off to other news, season 15 updates actually. Of Faith and Family in the US will get season 15 March 17th. I mean, we knew that it would get added, or it's like a weekly episode air thingy.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyways, it starts airing March 17th. And funnily enough, a couple of days later in the UK, Ireland, and Australia, I believe, they'll have season 15 on Netflix. So
and it's going to be the full season, right?
Yeah.
So do yourselves a favor and watch it on Netflix. Because Of Faith and Family are a bunch of homophobes and we don't want to support them. So watch it on Netflix and then you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
like 10 weeks. So that's good. Do that.
I
That's a
mean,
good plan.
if you can watch it, do it.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
Yeah.
So Rave It Up did another Heartland cast interview this week, this week with Jessica Amley. It's very, very long, so I skimmed through it. So I'm not 100% sure what they all talked about, but it is available to watch / listen to on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, apparently the description said, also haven't listened to the whole thing, that she talked about her experience on the show and, starting at such a young age and other projects she's been up to since, Heartland, including being a court-appointed youth advocate. So that was interesting that's something she's been up to.
Huh. That's so random. I love it.
Like,
oh my God.
who
So
would have
she's
known?
She's still in LA though, I think too, right?
Yeah, I
that's
think so.
Yeah. Well, good for her.
Yeah. And another quick update, Amber did one of her rambling rides, episode 7 this week, and well, she was explaining like what's going on with her farm mostly. So if you're interested in that, that's available. And she just quickly mentioned like she's been talking to the producers or writers or something like that about the possible upcoming season. So still no confirmation, but the signs are there.
Yeah, she mentioned some other projects that she's working on that aren't acting related, that sometime in the summer. So I don't know. I was kind of guessing maybe events or something. Not sure.
Possibly. Yeah.
Magazine, because she hasn't had a new magazine in 2 years. So
yeah, but I think that's all for the updates, and let's move on to what we're actually going to talk about today, which is something we kind of asked from you guys, like what episode would you want to watch? Like should we narrow it down? And I feel like we've all been missing Georgie. So I picked 4 different Georgie heavy episodes that I had to vote in, and because it was a tie between season 11 second episode highs and lows, and I think it was season 13 episode 6, or what was the other one? I can't
I don't even remember at this point. You have it in the messages.
Yeah,
but so you messaged me and you're like, well, which one should we do? Because it was a tie.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, 808.
Oh, right.
Which is the family tree.
Yeah.
And obviously I picked 1102 for very, very, very obvious reasons. So I don't have to explain myself.
Yeah. We'll get into it in a minute. But,
yes.
But it was fun that you guys joined this time and commented on Instagram. I mean, we've all seen it before, but I feel like it's been a while since I've seen the episode. And it
brought back a lot of memories. We'll get into it, but it brought back so many memories of when we first watch it and how like the atmosphere and the fandom, and like I was on Tumblr, for crying out loud. Like it was so different. So we're gonna dive into that in a bit. But we asked you guys on Instagram what your thoughts about 1102 are. So we're gonna.
And it's interesting because back then, obviously we didn't know what would happen next, but now it's like different because you know what's going to happen next, and like how does this all fit into the storyline. And because of Georgie-centric episode, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm in her room this week, so
it looks way too real. It's crazy. Oh my God. Instagram comments. HL Horses said, I forget what a great episode this is all around. I mean, besides the heavy stuff, there's also a lot of humor and it works well. Classic Jack and Tim with the flowers at the beginning, the whole Tim and Mitch thing with the skunk, which I forgot about, and the computer scene with Tim literally forcing Peter to look up Fernand. Peak comedy on all those. Then we also get to cast Gisa and Fairfield for the first time in 10 years. But the best part is definitely Georgie's storyline. Alicia's acting just steals the show, and they did the storyline so well. Peter is such a good dad, and I love watching it. The kitchen scene gets me every time. It's so hard to pick between this episode and 9-10. Side note, seeing Ty is weird, and then talking about how nothing will ever happen to them. Also, bonus points for getting a general and a trooper mentioned in one episode. finally, I really miss Mitch. All around great episode.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been pretty much my commentary on the episode.
I was just gonna say, like, I agree with absolutely everything on that.
Yeah. Then Stephanie said, first of all, Alicia did an incredible job this episode. The raw emotions she displayed felt so real. A few thoughts. The skunk plot was pretty funny and appreciated to help balance out the more heavier topic of the episode. I can't imagine what it was like for Georgie to talk to the man that killed her parents. I'm so proud of that character for choosing to speak with him like an adult and try to come to some sort of understanding. I think that really helped her with some sort of closure. The scene where she was talking to him and Peter was, I think, in the room had me in near tears. They all killed it. Lisa and Jack's scenes were cute. Nice to see Lisa not in the kitchen.
I'm gonna butcher this username, but do they just go by Lise or Liz? Lise can forever. God, I'm going to hell. Alicia killed each and every scene in that episode. Love how Jade made sure the family knew what's going on. Much needed lighter moments were with Jack, Tim, Lisa, and Fernand. And Tim Mitch dealing with the skunk. Love how Jack, Peter, and Amy reacted to Tim's odor.
Yeah. Then Dom Burrell said, I was angry at Jeff for not talking to her, Georgie, about it first before sending the article. It must have taken such courage to go to the house to see him and then to accept to meet him, to hear him out. My heart broke when she told him how to be a good dad, which turned into expressing her love for Peter. And then the crying emoji.
Yeah, relatable.
Yeah.
Now thinking back to 1102, when would that have that was 2017 when it aired?
Yeah.
Yes.
October 1st. I looked it up because I was doing a little
there. No, that was season 10.
Yeah, like a year later. I was looking at like old posts and stuff like that, and Heartland did really good that week for the ratings. It was the 19th most watched show on that day.
When they used to give us ratings.
Yeah. But I was doing some digging and I came across this thing that I had noticed while watching the episode. I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram stories.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so it was fun to look back now that, Ty is past because it's giving me a whole new perspective. So this was a joke, obviously. But yeah, I had noticed back then that they had a little bit of a continuity error.
Very big one, like it's very noticeable too. Oh my god.
Yeah, so there was a scene right at the beginning of the episode where Ty walks in when Cass is playing with Jasper the dog. And he's like watching her being like, ooh, who's a good boy and all that. And then there's a picture on the wall at the vet clinic of Ty, Amy, and Lindy from a scene that happens later on. So I was just making a joke that Ty is a time traveler and,
Oh my god, that's great news for the Graham fans. Yeah. That's great news, you guys. Celebrate. Like Ty can travel through time. He's probably not even dead. He's probably going to come back in season 16.
Yeah, like at some point he comes through like some kind of loop thingy.
Portal?
Yeah, portal. And he's like, whoa, what year is it? Oh, 2022. Okay, I'm just trying to keep track because I've been traveling through wormholes and stuff.
And he comes back and Amy's like with Finn. Oh god. I'd watch that.
Yeah,
I even watched that.
But it was funny to go back and read some of the things that we went through back then because there was something else about Lisa. You want to share?
Okay, so we're gonna start back in the summer. So that season aired in October. And so they were filming in the summer and there were pictures, like on-set pictures, like everybody posts, that they were filming at Fairfield. And it wasn't made a big deal, and it should have been. Because we've never actually seen Fairfield before except one scene in season 1. One scene in season 1. Yeah. So It was literally 10 years in the making for us to see Fairfield, and it was not made a big deal. I'm mad because it really was a big deal. So cut to, what was it, July? So it wouldn't have been too long after I discovered that Fairfield was going to be in season 11. I was actually in Alberta, and I was with someone, and we went to the ranch, and they were actually, Alicia was filming some scenes for 1104. Anyways, I was talking to one of the crew members, and they were talking about how they were filming at this really fancy stable the last week or so, or the last block or whatever. And I was like, he couldn't remember the name of it. And I was like, Fairfield? Oh yeah, that's the name of it. You guys, I died. That was the confirmation that we were getting Fairfield for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Totally not a big deal. The worst part about this is that I also kind of thought that was happening in the premiere because they film at the same time.
Yeah.
And come to find out that she wasn't actually in the premiere at all. So that was a very long week waiting for episode 2.
And then there was a tweet that was something like, because I don't remember what you had posted
I was
earlier.
probably complaining about something. I was probably complaining about how Lisa wasn't in the premiere. Something like that. That's something I would do.
Yeah. Because the Plock Whisperer at the time responded to your tweet, and they said, "That is so awesome. I'm guaranteeing major Lisa scenes in next Sunday's episode."
Yeah, which is 1102.
Yeah.
So I was like real freaking out about that.
Yeah.
It was good. But like this stuff was happening all the time. Season 11's my favorite year in the fandom, hands down. Because stuff like that was happening every week. It was crazy. It was a busy time in the career as
Yeah.
But so what else had happened during that time?
Yeah,
Maybe-
there was fan-made poster
I think
about
it was Beth who made it.
yeah.
I think it was Beth who made it, yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because last week we talked about Lisa not being in the poster, and she's in this poster a lot.
Oh, very, very visible. So who started it? I can't remember who was the first person to ever Photoshop Jessica Steen onto one of the Heartland posters, but I know that another fan, Beth, started doing it at season 10, was it?
Yeah. I think
So
she was one of the first ones, definitely.
yes. And then season 11 happened, and it would have been, all of this happened around the same time, where Beth photoshopped Jessica Steen onto every single character's face on the poster.
Yeah, because
Okay.
there's Ty, Lindy, Amy, Tim, Jack, and Georgie.
Yeah.
No Lou, because she was gone a little bit.
Oh my god, right. That's who the other one was missing. Oh,
Yeah, and
okay.
obviously no Lisa. So, and when we saw that tweet about Lisa being in the second episode,
Right.
that's what we were thinking. Like, she's gonna be in every scene. Like,
Oh my god, right. And then it aired, and she had literally 4 scenes in total. So we're like, it's gonna be a big episode for Lisa. The hell it was. It was
Yeah.
like
I mean,
2
it's
minutes altogether. Like, yeah, I guess, but
yeah,
they definitely made that to be a little more exciting than it was. But
yeah,
it was still a very good episode nonetheless.
yeah.
But I remember at first Beth had just photoshopped Jessica Steen's face onto one person. I think it was, I don't remember who it was. And then we're like, well, go big or go home. So
Yeah.
she put face on everyone. And I don't even know how this happened, guys, but Jessica Steen saw it.
And apparently she wanted it to be
Yeah,
on her wall or something.
She said that she's gonna print it and give it to her parents for Christmas.
And the Heartland logo has like the heart crossed out and says Lisa Land.
Oh my god. Like, we don't make these things thinking that they're gonna see them, okay? We make them for our own amusement. So when I got so Jessica saw this, I was like, oh dear god, is that a good thing? Or
Yeah, but I guess it was a good thing if she wanted that to be like I wish I would have seen her reaction.
oh, I die. So I'm gonna read the actual comment that I got. This is from Heartland's key makeup artist. And this was on Instagram, so I don't even remember. Must have been posted on Instagram, and this is what the comment was. I cannot remember that long ago, guys. I'm sorry. So she said, a friend of Jessica's is a stills photographer working on a show with Nathaniel, and showed her your post, and she loved it. Since she's never been on a poster, Jess wants to print it up and give it to her parents for Christmas. Jess wants to thank you so much for your support. She should see the, was it season 13? Or was it, which poster was it? Was it season 15?
12.
12? Was it 12, the really brutal one? 12 was...
Because I think it was one with Luke. Because we were like,
oh my
we
god,
like
right?
Luke,
They put...
but like...
I know, I love Luke. Luke, I really wish that he would have been around in season 14, but I'm like, why the actual hell is he on the poster?
Yeah.
Why? I'm sorry, but that's totally disrespectful to characters who've been on the show for 15 seasons, and you bring a kid in for one season, he gets the poster. Excuse me, you know how rude and disrespectful that is?
But
I'm sorry, and I absolutely adore the character of Luke. And I wish he would have come around, especially for like Ty's funeral and stuff, because of the connection they had. But it's very disrespectful. Sorry, not
Yeah, it's
sorry.
like, are you serious right now? Like,
right? Okay, I'm gonna quickly pull it up here, you guys, so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna like absolutely take everything with me. This is the DVD.
Yeah.
What the actual hell, people?
And like
at
even
least put
Tim
Lou.
and Lou, like
I know.
season 12.
Why is Ty in there either? He wasn't
Yeah.
in half of it either. What the hell? Like, anyways,
So
that's embarrassing, because at this point it really feels like they're intentionally doing it. Honestly, it really does. What else happened during that time? Was that like...
I remember
God.
because I had this like not a big deal surgery back then, like on the same
It was
day.
a big deal. It
Well,
was a big deal, wasn't it?
it was a big deal for me because I've never had anything like that before. So
Yeah.
I was freaking out about, going under because I was like, I want to see the next episode of Heartland so bad. Like, what if my heart stops or something like that?
Your heart stops and then you can't watch Heartland anymore.
Yeah, so on the
Yeah.
day it came out, or like I think it was Monday, I had the surgery, so I had no way to see the episode before, getting home. So I just remember that was happening at the time for me.
But I'm looking at my review of the episode for the first time, and it's 2 words. You want to know what they are?
Jack and Lisa.
No words. That was my original review of the episode we're about to review. So
Is that a good thing? Like no words or...
yeah, no, like definitely was, because that last Jesus scene was definitely like made it worth it. But at the same time, I was like, you guys really done hyped this up for me. For what reason? But
so
yeah.
should we get into, our reviews now that it's been like 5 years or what? Wait a minute.
Oh my god, hold on. Yeah, 16, so it'd be 5 years. Yeah.
Gee, did that right?
Oh
my
god.
gosh.
It just starts counting again.
Yeah, are we getting smarter or
Are we getting smarter, or are we just doing the absolute bare minimum?
both?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, 1102. So a quick summary of episode 1102. Georgie confronts the man who killed her parents, the drunk driver who killed her parents. Lou's not in this episode, but Peter is. Peter flies in to be there for Georgie. Jack and Lisa, how do I explain this? Some hot dude in France sends Lisa flowers, and I don't exactly know where Jack's mind went for that, but it ends up being a real estate situation because Lisa's broke.
Yeah.
What else happens? Oh, Tim and Mitch. Tim makes Mitch come all the way from Calgary to deal with a skunk that's apparently his fault.
Yeah.
I think I summed it up quickly.
And Ty and Amy are, because
Oh.
of the Chorchy situation, they're thinking like, what if something happened to them? Like, who's going to be Lindy's guardian? So that's...
and Caleb and Cass. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a storyline with Amy and Ty making Caleb and Cass legal guardians if
Yeah.
something were to happen.
There's a lot.
Lots of good characters in this episode.
Yeah, and a lot of things happening, but I felt like it was like all around good episode.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like there was too much or something was rushed or I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of the best. And
Yeah.
the song at the end of it, like, absolutely, like, I'm obsessed with that song till this day because of that episode. Do you remember you remember the ending of it, right?
Yeah,
Like, through the fire.
Yeah, because Georgie's jumping and she's like done with her baggage or whatever.
Yeah.
So what did you think about Georgie's storyline?
So this is, I think it was HL Horses who said that this was like Alicia's best acting.
Yeah.
Phenomenal episode. And I have to agree. And the thing is, there's so many of those with Alicia Newton because she can cry just like that. It's crazy. It doesn't matter how many times I watch 1102 that when she's talking to the man who killed her parents, like absolutely just sobbing because I watched it again this morning.
Yeah.
Just like absolutely sobbing. She makes it look like it's super easy. So I think it's very well my favorite Georgie episode.
Yeah, it must be mine as well. I mean, I was hoping people would pick this, but of course,
I know.
I was
when I saw the list, I'm like, 1102.
Yeah. And I don't usually cry about stuff like if I've seen them once, I'm like, I know what's coming. Like,
right.
But this one, it gets to me, and like seeing Peter's reaction, because I don't think have we ever seen him cry with actual tears other than this?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's like
no,
whoa.
You're right. I don't think we've ever even seen that character cry if we're really gonna think about it.
Yeah, because he's been like stressed and distressed and like worried and everything, but like I don't think we've seen him cry other than this.
This could be like nothing, but I feel like we haven't seen a lot of the male characters actually cry.
Yeah, especially with like tears. Yeah. Because there's always like that, but like that's different.
Oh, except Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, season 14, when he was with Lisa at the hotel, like absolutely sobbing. And then I can also think of 714 when she leaves and there's only one single tear.
And probably like Will's, death.
Yes. So yes, the character. Okay, I love Jack so much.
Yeah, and I think that it's because of Sean, like he's very emotionally invested, and so it's like really cuts deep when he's crying because it's like it comes from his heart. So yeah,
agreed. What did you think about Georgie / Alicia in this episode?
I mean, amazing. Like you said, one of my favorite Georgie episodes. And I also think it was like, I remember back when it first aired, it was kind of like we didn't know that this was going to happen. I think we kind of had some teasers, but it was like, oh, wow, like they're actually going there.
That's
like
a good point. Did we know? Like, was there an episode description? Like, how much did we actually know? That's a really good point.
Not too much. Probably something like Georgie's facing a ghost from the past or something.
Was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
On the next Heartland.
That guy in the photo, he's that drunk driver that killed my parents 14 years ago. I looked him up online yesterday and I found some stuff. I'm gonna go see him.
I don't think that's such a good idea.
Heartland, new season, Sunday at 7 on CBC.
But like, I remember because it was both surprising and like, whoa, what's gonna happen? Like, what's happening? Like, but at the same time, I felt very drawn to the storyline right away because the episode starts kind of light, and then Georgie's like watching somewhere in the distance, and Jade comes over and she's like, "So where do you want to go?" Riding, and then it starts to unfold, and it's. I think they did it well.
Yeah,
like. I think it was nice that I would have loved to see how Lou would have reacted to this guy. But at the same time, I did appreciate the scenes with Peter, and I love that Jade was there for her, and and Jack as well.
That's just it. I wonder what the situation would have been like had Lou been there, and I'm kind of happy in a way that she wasn't, because that was a very important special moment between father and daughter.
Yeah.
And I feel like there would have been more chemistry in that scene being Lou and Georgie Peter and Georgie, as opposed to Lou and Georgie.
Yeah. And I think Lou would have really been protective of Georgie.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think this kind of storytelling gave more room to like Georgie's process of the whole thing. And it was more quiet, and like I would think that really worked well with the story. And I think the actor who played Charles, like, great casting. Like, he had that, could have been a punk look, but at the same time, this like Family Guy vibe. And I think he did really well with the scenes, like the kitchen scene, the emotional scene, and then Georgie having that nightmare sequence, and it was like, he was really creepy. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa.
It was, exactly. The casting was done very well. I agree, for sure.
While I was rewatching the episode now, like when Charles comes over and Jack's like taking his contact information, I was sort of surprised Peter didn't have a bigger reaction to it. Like, wait, the guy was here. Like, I wanted to talk to him. That was something like that.
He like runs outside. I agree, because like I would have also was hoping that conversation would have happened with Peter.
Yeah, I mean, I do see why they did it. And it
could have been like a whole scheduling thing. It could have maybe it was written in and they just couldn't do it for whatever reason. But I feel like that would have been more suited to Peter, like Peter actually having a conversation with this man.
But at the same time, I did kind of appreciate that they didn't go like really dramatic with this. It was kind of this like lingering feeling, like what's going to happen. And then Georgie has this like very mature conversation with the guy, and it's like, damn, like this is good writing. And I mean, it's written by Mark, so
oh my god, that's why it's a perfect episode. Mark's the best. That got me thinking, because does 2 years not seem like a little bit too less for killing two people?
Yeah, because I was thinking that as well, but then he was like 17 or something, like really young. So I wonder if that was like because he was the first timer, or
10. Like, that's an insult.
Yeah, but I find that sometimes with stuff like this, like the sentences are like really not that long, which is right.
It's a good thing that the character ended up being like changing, I guess. And becoming an empathetic person, because I don't know what their intent was by bringing this person in. Like, were they going to make him be, an ass about it? Or is he going to be an empathetic human and take responsibility for his actions? So, it was just, I also remember like watching her come down the stairs and she was going to talk to him. Like, what was she going to say? Like, start that conversation. So it was like, the character and obviously Alicia too are both very, very mature for their age.
Yeah, and I was thinking that because, obviously this time I knew what was coming, but at the same time, it was like they could have easily made her be like, you know what, like, I lost my parents, like, you have the nerve or something like that. But I kind of like this because it wasn't like an apology. But it was like, I think it was H.O. Horses, who said, like, it was some sort of closure. Like,
it's like the same thing, sort of the same thing when Amy confronts Grady in season 15. It wasn't about forgiveness. It wasn't about whatever you want to call it, but it was just for the sake of Amy. Amy needed that to be able to move on from certain parts of her life. Like, it's more for that person than it is for...
Yeah. And I think it was there was a lot of thought put into her like conversation overall, but I think what hit me was her saying something like, I can't forgive you for something I can't remember, or whatever it was. And
Yeah.
then her having the conversation with Peter after she had the nightmare, where she was kind of like, I can't stop thinking like how different my life would be had he not decided to
Yeah.
drink and drive. And it's like she must have felt like she had lost something, obviously, but at the same time, she had this Heartland family. So it's like, you know, life has a way of finding your path or whatever. Of course, she must have been angry, but at the same
Yeah.
time, she also, because there was like, I don't know, 14 years since the accident.
14. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, can I really feel something that I don't necessarily feel?
Well, she was confused. Like, she
Yeah.
probably had no idea what she should have been feeling.
Yeah.
And I also feel like it was extremely, I don't know, weird that Jeff just mailed her an article.
Yeah.
Like, are we in the 90s? Like, why didn't you just send an email and with a nice message attached to it? I don't know. Maybe just
Yeah.
maybe for television, but it was like he should have protected her a little bit more from it. You know what I mean? Or at least
Yeah.
been there for her when he
'cause
gave her that.
that
Sorry,
was
that
one
might
of
be problematic, but I don't know.
No, but I agree with you're saying. Like, I wish we would have heard more about like Jeff, like maybe a phone call or something like.
Like his reaction to it,
Yeah.
because he was old enough to remember,
Yeah.
you know, what it was, what his life was. So I would have liked to also see it from, and if he would have been there during that conversation between Georgie and Charles, just stand, like, I don't know, I think it kind of missed out a little bit by not having the character of Jeff there.
Yeah, because maybe
And-
he would have been like, "You really want to see the guy? Like, are you crazy? Like, what?"
Probably would have got violent, which
Yeah.
you know, but that's something I do wonder what we missed out on by not seeing the character of Jeff like some
Yeah.
seasons up. So.
When I was doing a little bit digging about this episode in like 2017, Alicia had done a little interview about it, or like season 11, and she mentioned that the scene in the kitchen with Charles and Peter was her favorite from this season, and you know, obviously I can see why. And it's just like nice to kind
She
of
should be
know.
very proud of herself,
Yeah.
because that incredible acting. How old would Alicia have been at that 2017?
16?
I would have. Yeah, you're right, because we're 2 years apart. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have been 16. Yeah.
And I did wonder, because for those who don't know, the picture of her parents, it's
Yeah.
actually her parents. So I always wondered, like, is that weird to kind of see them there? But at
wonder
the same time,
how.
maybe that helps, to
Yeah.
get the feeling out.
Because you don't want to send your mind to that place, but I feel like part of acting is, you know, doing that. So she's looking at this picture of her real parents / fictional parents,
Yeah.
and thinking about the time that they were, you could say, murdered, I guess. And it's like the emotions that she's feeling, she's looking at a picture of her real parents.
One note about Georgie's storyline, like she's having, or what I have left here, is that she's having trouble writing Flame.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me think, like, because then Amy kind of wants to prove her wrong, like it's not the
Yeah.
horse, it's her. Like, obviously she's going through something with the whole charts thing. But it made me think, like, because Amy did the course, like, no big deal. So I don't know if horse people could enlighten me about this. Like, is it about the horse more than it's about the rider? Because it's like when you're competing, if you know what I mean. Because Amy could go to Olympics and probably
I
win.
know.
Like, why isn't she, and why is Georgie? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I personally haven't had that experience with a jumping horse, and I don't know, and I feel like it's also different for every horse too, because
Yeah.
just like you, they have their different attitudes and personalities, so it can also always depend on the horse or rider. But we should ask Nina. Nina would
Yeah.
know.
But that I really want to know, because it's like
Interesting, yeah.
She did
Yeah.
it with such ease. Like, what's the difference
know.
between, you know, the rider
And why doesn't
Yeah.
she just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a very good point.
then we could talk a little bit about Amy and Ty and Cass and Caleb, maybe.
Oh my god, it makes me miss Caleb and Cass, first of all.
Yeah. And then talking about like maybe we're not ready for a baby, and I'm like, oh, it's about to come a couple of seasons later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice to see Caleb babysitting Lindy and
So
Cass
sweet. Yeah.
being involved. And yeah, I thought it was nice the way they did it, like them adopting Jasper and kind of taking that step toward their future or whatever. But then the only other note I had for them was when, in the beginning of the episode, when Ty leaves to work, there's like this lingering zoom when he's at the top of the stairs. And I'm like, is he gonna die? Even though I know he's not. But I was like, that's...
You got PTSD or something?
Like,
No,
why?
It's almost like, in my personal opinion, I doubt that they've actually been planning Ty's death for as long as they tell people. So that was made at a point where Graham was still on the show, but it's like foreshadowing in a way.
Yeah, because
it was like almost watching the ghost of Ty watch his family.
Yeah, now it's kind of creepy because he was like, I'm going off to work, and like, send me everything she does, Lindy does, if it's cute or even if it's not cute. And it's like, he's not there anymore and not seeing those things. And it's kind of like giving a different perspective to his scenes. And especially when they're like planning, like, what if something happens to us? And they're like, no, nothing's going to happen. But, in case it happens. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that was... because I don't think they planned it, so that was just a really strange foreshadowing / coincidence. But
I do feel like Ty was always knocking on the death's door, basically.
Knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah. Because he kept having accidents happen to him, and like he was always in danger.
The universe was trying to kill him for a long time.
Yeah, and it was like his 9 lives ran out. And season 14 happened, and it's like,
especially since the shot that he got wherever he got shot doesn't make sense, or was it Amy who got shot and it doesn't make sense? But it didn't make sense either way how he died from it. But
yeah,
gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. If they supposedly been trying to kill off his character for however long they're trying to tell us, they did a really shitty job at it.
I feel like maybe season 12, 13, they were kind of like aware, because I think Luke played
season 12.
Yeah, because I think Luke played a big part in it, kind of them wrapping these like storylines. Well, not wrapping, but like, bringing Luke, like this older child, for us to see how Ty would be with an older kid, and them starting to build the house. Yeah,
they knew we were never gonna see it, so they're like, let's pretend to build a house and let's give Amy and Ty a fake son for a season.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened, because I just don't think there was any way they would actually build the house and have Amy go
and
from Heartland.
I've kind of felt things were like lots of chemistry had ended between those two characters years previous, but season 12 was dry. If you're going to talk about chemistry between Amy and Ty.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's where a lot of things went downhill behind the scenes, honestly.
Because I think also with them working together, there was drama and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were really trying to get every element of Ty and Amy kind of on the table and deal with that. And because they knew that the house was never going to happen, they could pretend like, oh, of course it's going forward. And maybe what if Graham didn't leave after season 12? They were kind of like, well, there's something wrong with the house, like construction problems and like prolonging
knew they were never going to actually build the house. We know that because they don't have room in the studio for another set.
Yeah.
We all knew it was never going to happen. Like, if what I assume is correct, Amber was like completely blindsided by the fact that Graham wanted to leave, because I feel like they really accommodated the fact that he didn't want to be in the seasons all the time. So they're like, okay, no problem. And then I think season 12 happened, and then Amber was completely blindsided by the fact that he totally wanted to leave. Because I'm sorry, but you can totally tell by on-screen chemistry.
Yeah, and I
know?
think maybe because I think every actor has those conversations with the writers before the season starts. So I think maybe Graham expressed like, I kind of want this to be wrapped up. So what do you got? Like, what do you think
Yeah.
should happen before, Ty leaves or dies or whatever the plan was at that point?
The only way it would have worked is if they killed the character off. There was no other way.
Yeah.
There's no other way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. I hope one day somebody writes a tell-all book.
Yeah.
Because I want to know these things. But yeah, it's crazy. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about Amy and Ty's storyline in that
Yeah.
episode. Okay.
Do you have any thoughts about that? Because I only have those notes.
No, like it's kind of obvious at the beginning where they're going with that storyline. So you kind of you already knew it was going to happen. So I don't really have anything to say about it. Their storyline was definitely, I don't know what was least, the Jesus storyline or the Tammy storyline, which anyways, but
Yeah.
it wasn't an important storyline, so not too much to talk about there.
Yeah,
for that particular episode.
but I think it went well with Georgie's storyline. Like, of course, that would come up in a conversation with them, at that point. But as for Jack and Lisa, thoughts?
Okay, so like I said, first Fairfield filming since season 10, season
Yeah.
1.
Yeah,
So
because
first Fairfield lighting in 10 years.
I wrote
deal.
down, was that the first time since
Yeah.
season? Yeah, okay. So
It was a very big deal.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Did we know what was gonna happen though? Like, did we have spoilers at that time? Because I'm trying to think. Did we go in completely blindsided, or did we know?
I mean about this Jack and Lisa stuff, I
Yeah.
think we didn't really know. I mean, we knew that Ty was going back to Mongolia, I think, because of the leak images from Chris
Oh my
Potter's
god!
IMDb page from Mongolia, and we were like, "Are you kidding me?"
Like the audacity, once we'll forgive you for that. Twice, never will we forget. We will be mad till we die about Mongolia too. Yeah, that was probably my least favorite part about season 11 in general. Jack and Lisa. So obviously love the last scene. And I was surprised. I'm trying to think now, and I recall being surprised about the fact that she's broke.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, same. Because I made like a meme about it when she's like, I'm broke. Oh my god, same. Like I posted that all
Never
over Twitter.
related to a character more.
Never been so relatable. It was great. Never actually been able to relate to the character of Lisa Stillman until she said that. It was great. So that was nice, and how Jack was supportive, and that's also the start of that whole arc for Jack and Lisa in season 11. Because that goes on to be an issue for the whole season, literally.
Yeah.
And it ends up that start like 2 episodes later, they move in together. So it really, that episode and that storyline triggered the whole arc. So it did start off slow, but Jisa really had a good season for 11 because of that episode. As for what else is there to say? So
I mean, for me, one of the things when I remember when I first watched it was that, oh my god, not another I'm jealous of some other guy storyline. But I liked that there was this twist at the end that, Lisa was broke, and it was because of that. Because
right? Yeah.
And then Jack being like, okay, so I know this is kind of lame, but I'm kind of, I don't know, jealous,
And
but
he
like
totally Googled him.
Yeah.
Like they Googled this dude, and I'm like, that's hilarious. That was a really, really funny moment, because I also don't recall knowing where those flowers came from, because there was a first look,
yeah.
obviously. And so that first look included Jack bringing in the flowers, but I had absolutely no guesses of who it would be from.
I like that it was kind of unpredictable, the storyline, but it delivered. And I wrote down that Tim knows Lisa's birthday, because he was like, it's not her birthday. I was like, oh.
Oh, the first and like only mention of her birthday, I believe.
Yeah. Do you have a theory like when her birthday is?
Like, am I gonna guess her zodiac sign? So Jack's birthday is around episode 6. Georgie's birthday is in normally the season finale in the winter, like December or whatever.
I want to
Ty-
say between seasons because we never see her
between seasons, yeah.
celebrate.
Well, it doesn't make sense because they like pick and choose whose birthdays every season. And like Amy's birthday was at the beginning
May-ish.
episode 1. They celebrated her birthday, and that also happened in the season 2 premiere. So Amy's birthday's in the premiere. As for Lisa, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Like maybe February or something like that.
Let's say March.
Yeah.
So that would be off. Yeah, it would be off season. Yeah, literally, we're never gonna see it. Oh my god.
I mean, I wrote down, not that this is any special, but Lisa looked really pretty in this episode.
Yeah.
Because she always does, but I was like, wow, she's so pretty.
Yeah, she is. I remember because there was you made, I'm gonna butcher this word, okay? So you're gonna have to say it. Is it GIF?
Yeah.
GIF.
GIF? No, but it's like people say either GIF or GIF. I'm team GIF, but it's
GIF?
just yeah.
GIF, yeah. Okay, so a GIF is basically a moving picture, if we're gonna get down to it. And you made some. Was it you who made them of Jessica Steen in that last scene for Gisa? I don't remember who it was. But yeah, I agreed.
Speaking of Jack and Tim, someone mentioned the scene when they're Googling Fernand, whatever, and they're like, "You stink," and Tim's like, "It's not that bad." And Jack's like, "It ain't good."
You stink. It's not that bad. It ain't good.
I don't know. I just love that moment. I know it's such a small little thing, but
Jack.
The way he delivered that, it ain't good.
It ain't good, yeah. I like every character in this episode. Like I don't, I don't have complaints about any of the storylines because they all, they all make sense. And I don't know, besides the whole very big continuity error.
Yeah, but it's one of those
time traveling thing.
Yeah.
Ty traveled forward in time, took a picture, and then traveled back in time to hang it up at his work place of employment. It's the only logical explanation.
When this episode started, I didn't remember what was going to happen with Tim and Mitch, but then as soon as he went to the Dude Ranch, I was like, oh, it's the skunk episode.
It's funny. Those two together, it's funny, especially when they actually catch the skunk.
Yeah.
He throws this $100 duvet over top of it, and then he leaves and makes Mitch take care of it, which, by the way, I miss Mitch so much.
Same. I was like, no, and with the facial hair too, like the best.
Nick hot stuff.
But like when Mitch came to the Dude Ranch for the first time, I was like, what does Tim need him for? Like, I understand he's like bitter about him not doing the wintering thing properly, like, but he's doing all of it with the marshmallows and everything. Like, what do you need him for? And then he was like, take it out. And I was like, oh, okay.
He goes and he tells Lou that he took care of it and saved $300. The hell you did.
Yeah. And I like that even though Lou was not in this episode, they had that phone call and everything like that. Like she was present. So I really like that. Like even though character is not there, like you can feel that she's part of the family. So
when did Lou come back? Like episode 4? No.
5?
She wasn't in episode 4. No, 5. I think 5. Because I know for sure she's in episode 6, because that's the Maggie's in New York thing, and her.
Yeah,
and
that's
Mitch.
the thing.
Lou returns from New York only to find things are. Oh, because episode 5, Jack and Lisa move in together, and that's when Lou returns from New York and complains about it.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one. Yeah, but she was gone a lot during the season. I want to say
gone very much during the season.
But yeah, the only last comment I have for this episode is I think Tim preferred Mitch over Peter.
Oh, absolutely. So do I.
Even though he was like being really an ass with him in this episode, but it's
Oh,
like,
and then how he said, "Thanks for your help, trooper." Like
Uh,
that. Yeah.
and I was watching this from the Finnish streaming service, and the translation for trooper was like, boy, like, thanks for the help, boy. And I was like, that's so stupid.
That is very stupid.
But yeah, I really love this episode. I think it's one of my favorites of all times, like one of them for sure.
I don't know. I love season 11, and if we're gonna talk about like the best Jesus season, I think it's season 11.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much gold there, like
1106.
Lisa moving in, and like,
Well, so Lisa moves in. I'm just gonna stop there. No, I'm just kidding. And then that whole thing with the cloned horses in episode 6. So Jack and Lisa have a fight, and then she leaves, and then she comes back, and Jack does a super romantic thing for her, and then buys her a goat. Like, who? You can't top that. And then
I mean, in your world, no way.
yeah, the whole painting thing, the really ratchet painting. What episode is that? 7, I think. That Lisa's aunt sends a really ratchet painting.
Yeah, it's the sons
Okay.
and daughters episode.
Episode 7.
Yeah.
And then 11:11, they're on horseback. Like, you can't make this up. It was crazy. Like, Jack wore tights, which is
I mean, if before the season began, like, you would have had to guess which one of these like things they have
Yeah.
listed is a lie. Like,
yeah.
Jack's wearing like tight pants, and Lisa moves in, and like Jack gives Lisa a goat and stuff like that. You would have been like,
Oh my god.
none of these are real.
Well, the funniest part is goats are my favorite animals. So Jack buying Lisa a goat, you really can't top it. And then we go to episode 15 and 16, which are very big for Jack and Lisa as well.
Yeah.
And then the finale, Lisa finally gets her stone. Like, you literally cannot beat season 11 when it comes to that couple.
And
Season 11.
wait, it's the season where Amy has that like performance for Lindy in the last episode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And Amy doesn't want Lisa to get a stone the same day as Lindy.
Yeah, well, besides that, Alberta Dreams reposted this video yesterday. Did you see it? Like, when Amy's performing, and it's like panning back from the family, and it's like the focus on the scene is not on Jack and Lisa, but they're there, but still Jack or Sean goes in and he gives Lisa a kiss, and they hug, and it's like,
I didn't even. Excuse me?
yeah,
Hold
go say it, because it's like such
I
a
guess we'll
sweet
copy
moment.
it.
And I think even if they weren't the focus on the scene, like, that just tells that they're in character, and there's this like loving friendship between them. And I don't know, I just love that the season ends with that.
Well, season 11 is my favorite of all time, and it holds a very special place in my heart because the finale that they filmed was on one of those fans on set days. Jessica Steen was there, and I was there. So that's another reason why I really love the finale, because we're
Yeah.
technically in the same scene together, which is, you can't top that. I'm sorry. And I
Yeah.
keep saying that, but you can't, not for me. And then I was also in a different season 11 episode. Like, season 11 is my favorite. And on that one, fans on set day, what was it? Like episode 10 of season 11 is when I was getting a ride back to the circus, and I was sitting on script pages. That's how I found out about what was going on with Jack and Lisa in episode 11. And I'm like just sitting there reading these, you guys, and like nobody's taking them away from me. So I was like, all right, I took pictures and I sent them to you.
Yeah, and you were like, did we know anything? Like, you were the insider.
Oh my god. But that didn't happen until mid-season. And then
yeah.
I saw that, and then I was like, I thought I was going crazy because Dan and Val are also in 11:11, and I'm like, no, nobody's gonna believe this is happening right now.
Yeah.
What? Okay, I gotta quickly find that episode. So yeah, the whole season and that episode in particular hold a very special place.
So the last thing you need to do before we wrap it up is watch that scene with Jack and Lisa.
I'm logging into the CBC Gem right now. Okay. Oh, you guys, I love the Stone finale.
But a question for you, listeners, is this like rewatching episodes something you want to see more from us, like taking part of watching them? I saw someone suggested that we would do it on Twitch. I've never used Twitch, but I don't know if
What is that?
it's like what gamers use for like,
Oh, okay.
for like streaming, but I don't know if it's legal to play episodes that way. So I don't know if
I
that's
don't even know what it is, so I couldn't tell you.
yeah, so I don't know if that's possible, but we like doing these episodes, like rewatching, but if, you know, if that's not
Oh, no,
something
I'm
you're
probably
interested in, then we're not gonna do more of them. But
Does anybody know what timestamp I should be looking for?
it's
or
like after Amy's performance, probably.
after. Okay.
Yeah, because they're standing outside
Do I
and
have to
Jack.
watch the full performance or? Okay, this episode was cheesy when Amy was like, "I remember."
Yeah, and then a couple of episodes ago, she was like, I don't remember anything when I was this age, because she was going to Mongolia and people are like, what about Lindy? She's gonna
Oh
miss
my-
you. And I
You
was
can't
like,
make this shit up.
like,
Oh my
which
god.
one is it? Like, pick your side.
Oh, that's so sweet. I've never seen that before.
So
Who told you about that?
It's Alberta Dreams.
Well, that's a good eye. I've never seen that.
No, but she reblocked it from Maddie. She's a Heartland fan.
Also, have a very hard time watching any episodes I was on set for, so that's probably why I probably just skimmed through it.
Mm,
Because they're not real to me. I think you may agree with me. Anything I've ever been on set for, that episode isn't real to me. That's just like I was there. I was seeing how it was made. It's not an imaginary world for that episode. I was there.
You're like ruined.
Yeah.
I can't.
So
watch
it's a
this.
blessing and a curse, you guys, to be on set for things like that because it really did almost ruin my perspective of the show for a bit. I had to like separate those episodes from the ones that I haven't been on set for because they aren't the same to me.
Mm,
They really
Yeah.
aren't. Do you think that way though about the season 12 episode you're in?
I mean, in a way, because you know, I saw what they did. Like,
Mhm.
that's not Georgie writing. It was some guy with a camera and like stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like,
Exactly.
it was such a small scene, so I can like separate it from the rest of, you know, what's happening.
Dang. I need to try to do that, but it's like, because I'll watch it and I'm like, okay, I remember what's happening in between that scene and that scene. And I was like, yeah, I was going to get a sandwich at that before they filmed that. So I don't watch any of those the same way I watch.
Yeah, because I remember from the episode I'm in, they filmed some scenes after we were gonna leaving or going away, and there's this scene with Kim. Is that the
Oh,
trainer? Yeah.
yeah.
Kim, Lou, and Peter, and they're at this porch of this like place that was there, and I just remember my sister like saying to me, I'm gonna go to the toilet. So that's the building that she went into the toilet. So that's the only thing I'm thinking when I'm watching that scene.
That is absolutely hilarious. What I think about when I watch this particular episode is I wonder where that shirt is because I haven't worn that or seen that particular t-shirt since. So
Yeah.
I feel like I must have left it at the hotel or something. Because I watched that and I'm like, where the hell is that shirt?
Before we go, I wanted to mention because we forgot about it in the updates. Aiden's on TikTok now and he's doing this funny Heartland related bits.
Yes.
So if you're on TikTok,
Aiden C. Morano.
yeah,
So
he's doing a lot of those and they're, I think, probably all Heartland related. So if
every
You-
single one. Yeah.
get a kick out of, you know, Heartland and humor, that's the place to go.
It's all over my For You page. All over.
Yeah.
There's some interesting comments. Like TikTok Heartlanders are a very different breed. Like you can just kind of say anything and nobody cares. Like someone was talking about how Amber was super rude to her. And I was like, okay, give us more. You can't just say that. Like, and this is Aiden's comments, okay? But there hasn't surprisingly been any homophobia.
It's kind of like if you're on Aiden's page, like, why are you there if you're like being
Yeah.
homophobic?
That's the same with Alex too. Alex is on TikTok and unfortunately gets a lot of homophobic comments. So that's not okay. And there's a lot of people who ask Alex about Heartland and they don't like being identified as the person on Heartland. So and they've said that many times on their account, so you guys should probably like stop and take
Yeah.
no for an answer, because if it's making a person uncomfortable and they ask you not to talk about it, then you've
Yeah.
got a problem. And a lot of people just don't understand, but that's not an excuse to be homophobic. You just got to educate yourself, and but yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's all for this week, and we'll see you with something else next week. And yeah, if you feel like it, you can rate us on streaming services, and
That'd be great. Even a
Yeah.
bad review. Every review is a good review.
until next week, keep your noses clean.
And your powder dry. Stay cool.